Just want to just check one or two things. I want to make sure I get some notes with me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Join us. Good afternoon. Please do share, share, share. I'll try and share it as well. We're live. Okay, so we're gonna do it. We're doing it a different way today. We're in the studio. We've got one or two things that we're doing, but here we go. So, good afternoon to you all. Let us make sure we got this right. Upload. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to make this right. We're gonna come and talk about the army officer that tells us not to join to join the British Army. It's very important that we talk about that. So please do join and share. You're listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Let's see if I can share it as I speak to you. I'm gonna try and share it and reach as people as possible through the broadcast. Share. We're just trying to give greetings. Welcome to Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We are talking about the British Army officer, and this fits into why in Africa, wherever we are on this planet, we are under attack. This is why we need to actually free Africa, and this is all connected to that. SK, yes, thank you. Greetings, SK, thank you. Good, thanks. Yeah, doing well. Please do join and share the broadcast. We'll shortly be talking about this issue going on. So, and a former British Army officer says, "Don't join the British Army." And I will you'll hear the voice of and why she said what she said, and it's important for us to share that message. So please do share and join. We need to reach more people. We are grateful for your support. Share, and share. Okay, so let me just make clear this: don't join the British Army. So says a former British officer. So we need to make sure that we put that out there because they were deeply racist towards the officer. There was a deep level of racism. Thank you very much, SK Technology. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So let us carry on. I'm going to try and answer you as I go along and watch. So give me 1 second. I want to make sure we got this right. Camera roll. So we're just getting everything ready. I might be an hour or so on here. So let me just make sure we got everything in place. Then we can then go ahead. Okay, good. I think we got everything there. That is all set. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think that's all set. I think we're all set. So let's go live. So we're going to go live on TikTok as well, which is what we're trying to do. Change that one to, yeah. Okay. What is this holding us up? Give me 1 second, please. I'm just trying to check. Something is not quite right. I don't know what it is. Okay. So that should go live. Okay. So, hang on. Add camera. Yeah, we got camera. I've got camera. Oh. 1 minute, please. 1 second. It says the camera source is not there. What do you mean camera source is not there? Give me 1 second, please. I don't know what they mean. Add camera. Yeah, we've got camera, haven't we? Yeah. Give me 1 second. I don't know what happened. Okay. Not virtual, no. Video. Okay. Give me 1 sec. I don't know what has happened here. It was there. I had a camera. But it just simply have just gone AWOL on me. So we are going to talk about the British what's the word? Greetings. Yes, you are watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We're talking about the British Army. So basically, we need people to know that if you join the British Army, there are things that you're going to face in terms of racism, and that's the harsh reality. And it's important that we address those issues. I'm really grateful. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do. I will do SK. We'll talk to you about it afterwards. So please make sure that as you're watching us, please do share the broadcast. It's very, very important. This information that we're sharing is information that will really give us a lot of insight into why we need to speak up and hold our governors to account. And don't forget, of course, the colonial structure is what is holding Africans back. I'm talking about the British structure, the French structure, and all of this. So we don't have peace at home on ground in Africa, and then we don't have peace at home. And of course, when we are in the Western countries, we don't have peace either. So we need to address that collectively. It is really important that we begin to address that, and it is so critical to what we've been talking about for so long. It is so important that we understand what is being done, and we have to make sure that we tell our people the facts of what is really going on, what is really happening, and why we need to be very, very active, proactive, and begin to take collective action. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to abandon the TikTok for today. I want to just focus on YouTube today, and it's a pleasure to have you all here. So what I will do, I'll come back to TikTok later on. Let us focus on it as we are here. I'm going to play you the song. Normally, I would have done it the other way down, but since you are here, we normally play a song before I start. It's called How Long? So this is about us taking control on our continent. So here's how it goes. It's a song. It's a song I wrote. I'll sing it for you. Here we go. Ha! Seasonewa. My people, oh, I always salute. Hey, Me una here. Hope you can hear me. Can you all hear me? Yeah, we're going to focus you right now. Here we go. How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this offer? How long? How long? Here we go. How long? Yes. Oh, sorry about that. What happened? I don't know what happened there. We're gonna do it again. So let's start again. It's a segue. Here we go. Share. You can download this tune on iTunes. Yes, sir. Here we go. My people, oh, I always salute. Hey. Me una here, oh. Here we go. How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this offer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this offer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this offer? How long? Oh, how long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this offer? My people, we don't tire inside Nigeria. Now slave camp we there, oh. Now so my people, we don't tire for the country where them they call Nigeria. Now slave camp, oh. The time don't knock where we suppose. Stand up for our rights, oh. Share. Stand up for our rights, oh. The time don't knock where we suppose. Stand up, oh, for our rights, oh, for self-determination. How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this offer? How long? How long? Yes, sir. How long? How long gonna go this offer? How long? How long? How long? How long gonna go this offer? How long go? How long? How long? How long gonna go this offer? Abdul Salam na fake man. Now he put that yeah constitution for your head, yo. Abdul Salam na fake man. Now military man can't tell una say una get constitution. Na lie yo, na fake, na fraud oh. That yeah constitution. Now in the day take close to na eye yo. Make una wake up, oh. Moka berenio, I just they wonder. Moka berenio, I just they wonder. Moka berenio, I just they wonder. Mocha Berenio, I just a wonder. Berenio, I just a wonder. Mocha Berenio, I just a wonder. Mocha Berenio, I just a wonder. Mocha Berenio, I just a wonder. My people, I want make una know so. Self-determination, oh, now you're right, oh. Thanks, Oko. I want make una know say, oh. Self-determination, now you're right, yo. You must fight for your rights. You must stand for your rights. You must get up, stand up. You must tell your people for your village, for your town, for your city, and inside country where you there, oh. Atiku, Emiloko, Opita Obi no be the solution. Now the solution, now be the solution. Make una wake up. Wake up. Make una wake up. Wake up. Time done knock. You be Yoruba man. You be Biafran. I want make una know say self-determination. Now you're right, you. Hey, 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 Yoruba land na your land yo. Middle belt na your land yo. Hausa land na your land yo. Biafra land na your land yo. No be Nigeria. No be Nigeria. No be Nigeria. No be Nigeria. La, 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 oh. Thanks, Oko. Thank you. I'm glad you love the song. You can download the song on iTunes and on Spotify right now. It is on iTunes and Spotify. You can download it and help us reach more people. We truly do need your support. The song is on iTunes. It's called How Long Una Go Dey Suffer. It's a song I wrote. It's a song that produced by my friend. A good friend of mine is called Smart Monkey Studios. So please help me download the song. We want that song to go viral. We will need it to reach as many people as possible because we need our people to take collective action. Thank you very much, Oko Davidson. We really appreciate the support there. And those of you who are watching, please do share. Now let us go to the main topic today. You are going to hear that on the beginning of the broadcast, I showed you a picture of an army officer that was racially abused in the British Army. I want us to hear her story, so I will bring it up and you will hear the story. Her name is, I think it's Kerry-Ann Knight is her name. So, basically, she was brought up, she was employed by the army, the British Army, to be the face of the British Army to attract more diverse people, more Africans to join the British Army. And guess what? When she got in there, you know, oh, thank you very much, Oko Davidson. Yeah, please do share. Those of you watching, you can download How Long Una Go Dey Suffer. Just type it in, and you will see my name, Citizen AY, come up. You can download the song and share it. We need to reach more people that way. Thank you so very much, those of you listening. So Kerry-Ann, she was brought in as the face of the British Army. They brought her in to sort of say, oh, look, the British Army is good for you as an African. If you join us, this is what will happen to you. You will get this support and everything else. Boy, she believed in all of that. So she carried on with the work. And guess what? As soon as she got in, they started being very, very abusive towards her. They started making things very difficult for her. Akshita Lu. Okay, thank you very much. Very, very important to continue to share the broadcast. Please share. Don't forget to subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. Hit the notification button, give us thumbs up. And we welcome super chats also. Thank you so very much. It's really important. And I'm really grateful for the support that you're showing to the platform. We need to get to 10,000 subscribers. We are currently around 3,000. We'd really like your support in doing so. So now back to the story. So we are going to hear what was said by Kerry-Ann. I wonder if I have a picture, if I could show you the picture of her. I can't do it because I have to flip the camera around and all that, but I'm not, I just want to, if you see the main picture, you will see her there. So let's go and listen to the story and we can talk some more. So here we go. Here's what the BBC press said about it, and then you'll hear her voice as well. Here we go.
The British Army has admitted that a black soldier who fronted several recruitment campaigns had to work in an unacceptable environment where she experienced sexist and racist harassment.
Exactly.
As well as apologising, the Army has paid the soldier a substantial financial sum.
Are you listening?
Kerry-Ann Knight, who left the Army this year, has been talking for the first time to our defence correspondent, Jonathan Beale.
This is just... That's the section I was in. Yeah, you spot me?
I can spot you.
Yeah.
Kerry-Ann Knight
So she was the
always
face.
knew she'd stand out.
She was made to be the face of the British Army. Right now, she's showing a picture of herself when she was in full military gear, and then taking pictures, and they were showing her. But let's listen on.
In an army struggling to recruit both women and ethnic minorities. Were you the only black person in
Yeah, I was the only a black female.
But she joined full of hope, assuming racism had long been stamped out.
Listen.
For some reason, I thought someone in uniform was going to be professional, and I was very excited to be a part of that and just
Thank you,
creating my own
Akshita.
family within the army.
Kerry-Ann became a face for army recruitment. She knew why the army wanted to appeal to the groups she represented. But she also became a target for abuse.
Yeah.
I was extremely shocked because I really didn't experience such deep levels of racism. Yeah, I had to learn the hard way in the army.
It got worse when she became an instructor at Harrogate. It's where the army trains junior soldiers from the age of 16. It's controversial, not least because in the past there have been allegations of bullying. Kerry-Ann says she witnessed it, but she too suffered at the hands of her fellow white male instructors.
They'd pile everything daily on my desk, so just to show me that I'm not welcomed. And I remember one day they took a photo of me just standing at that desk, looking slightly broken, just having to sort out that rubbish before I can use my desk. They'd have Django Unchained playing. They would repeat the most, say, racist lines.
Are you listening?
And then they'd chuckle. They spoke outright in the office about lynching me. Simply because I had
Lynching
put in a
her.
complaint. And it was suggested for me to be tar and feathered.
Rather than root out the racism, she says the army closed ranks to protect the organisation.
When they tried to
And
paint
she's in
out as
tears
if I
now.
was a aggressive black woman, that was extremely tough. If it wasn't for those individuals.
It's painful what she's going through.
Who supported me, whether secretly or publicly.
It's painful.
Yeah, I would have been broken.
Earlier this year, she took her case to an employment tribunal. The army contested it, but as the evidence mounted, it issued an apology. It accepted Mrs. Knight had to work in an environment where she experienced racist and sexist harassment. It admitted the army failed her. In a separate statement, the MOD said it had settled the claim with no admission of liability.
I would never
Listen.
encourage a woman, especially of colour, to join the army, because it's not going to benefit your life in the long run.
Exactly. So that's the point. Please, as you're watching, take the time, hit the like button. The more you hit the like button, the more the broadcast will reach more people. So please take a minute and press the like button. Tap on the screen and share the broadcast as well. Please hit the like button. Let's see the likes. We have over 112 people watching us and we have only 2 likes. I'd really be grateful if I can get that like to be over 50, over 60 of you as you're watching right now. We really appreciate that support. So what she said there is so true. She's telling people who are African descent, please do not go into the army. Because if you do, you are, let me play those words again. I want you to hear what she said. It's very important for you to hear it. Here we go. So listen.
A woman, especially of color, to join the army, because it's not going to benefit your life in the long run.
Exactly.
Kerry-Ann's image was used to promote a positive image of the army.
She was used.
That it's inclusive and welcome to all. But her harrowing experience tells a very different story.
Exactly. So her story tells a totally different story from what the image they were trying to create. If you join the British Army, we have open arms, we welcome you, you are part of the family, and all of that good stuff that they're trying to bring to you, in that way. But of course, we know that is, of course, not the case. And this is why we are saying now, for all Africans, if you are an African and you are thinking of joining the British Army, I strongly suggest, based on the evidence of what Kerry-Ann Knight, the face, the supposed, the so-called, the face of British Army that we Africans are supposed to gravitate towards and want to join the army. She was treated in a terrible manner. They were to even suggest that they were going to try and string her up and all of that stuff. That alone shows how deeply racist the structure, the British Army structure is. And we are coming out to state this. Please, as you're watching, continue to tap there, give us a thumbs up on the screen, help us grow the platform. We really do need that support from you. It is very, very important for us to get the message out there. So we are saying this categorically. Please do be aware. If I am, by the way, you're welcome. As you're watching, please continue to tap the screen. To give us a thumbs up. The more you give us a thumbs up, the more this broadcast will reach more people. The experience of Kerry-Ann Knight is not unique to her. The system, the military, is steeped in deep racism. And entirely, in fact, the structure is steeped in deep racism. And that is one of the reasons why those of us who are parents now, please make sure you tell your children not to go into the army because of what they are likely to face. Thank you very much. I can see the likes going up. Please, let's continue to like the broadcast as we are going along. I'd like to get to 50, maybe 60 people out of the over 100 watching. If you can get all of you giving us the likes, then that means the algorithm will send it to a lot more people. So I'm really grateful to each and every one as you are watching this broadcast. It's really important we continue to talk about that. Now, how does that relate to what is happening in Africa? Good question. Now, the reason why it is relevant to what's happening in Africa is because the kind of mindset that they're using in the military is what they use in actually interacting with Africa. They see Africans as lesser than. So when Kerry-Ann Knight got into the position where she was actually training other people, the people who are there got jealous. They had deeply embedded racist thinking. And they couldn't stomach the fact that this young lady, who is beautiful and African, was able to do the job, and they couldn't, stop her progression. So they did everything in their power to stop her. And indeed, when she reported this case to took them to tribunal, the British Army, they closed the ranks, and then they made her the problem, not the people who are carrying out this terrible racism against her. And we don't even know if any of them has been charged, if they've been demoted, if they've been sent packing from the army. And in actual fact, the British Army, they have said they admit no liability. Let me show you. I'll quickly play that to you so that you don't think I'm just saying it. They said we don't accept any liability. Let me hear it played.
Where she experienced racist and sexist harassment.
Listen.
It admitted the army failed her. In a separate statement, the MOD said it had settled the claim with no admission of liability.
So you see, they settled the claim, right? But then they settled the claim. They, in one breath, listen to what they said. Please listen. Please listen to what they said. This is very important. Let's go ahead and do this.
Tested it, but as the evidence mounted, it issued an apology. It accepted Mrs. Knight had to work in an environment where she experienced racist and sexist harassment.
So they accepted that Mrs. Knight was working in an environment where there was racist and sexist environment. But in the same breath, they admit no liability. So that means that those officers will carry on in the same way. So those of us that have got children, please be aware. If you send your children into the British Army, what happened to Kerry-Ann Knight is more than 50 to 60, maybe even 80% chance of it happening. And we need to be very, very aware of that. The structure, it is not just about the people within the army. It is the entire structure, the entire system of the British Army, how we operate, how it runs, is deeply racist, as evidenced by what happened to Kerry-Ann Knight. And we are trying to bring that to our attention. Please continue to hit the like button and thumbs up button. The more you do that, the more the algorithm reaches more people. Help us share, share, and share. So you can see if they are not willing to admit the wrongdoing, they never admit wrongdoing. That means that they are not prepared to stop that action. That means that they support the racism going on. That is what it means. And we have to be aware of that as Africans, going into anything like that. So we are coming out to raise this awareness, to share this, to make sure that our people know that they have to avoid going to the British Army. We are also hearing some talk about, they want us to be recruited and go and support them. There might be some people wanting us to go. Greetings from Senegambia. Greetings, Sulaiman J. Thank you for joining us. Please give us a thumbs up as you're watching, and I appreciate you. Greetings, Sulaiman J. It's a pleasure. Ifeanyi Mbadiwe, Aksha Akshita P, or from India, Oko Davidson, and from Nigeria, I believe, and SK Technologies, and everybody else. If I'm not mentioning your name, please, I'm not ignoring you. It's just I'm not seeing on the screen. But I'm really grateful that you are watching. Please continue to share this broadcast. Let us reach more people. You are, of course, watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We are trying to enlighten and encourage our people. As you're watching, give us a thumbs up so that the algorithm can get this to go to more and more people. It is of immense importance. We are truly grateful of your support. We also welcome Super Chat. If you want to give us Super Chat, that is also welcome. And, of course, the song that we played at the beginning, I'll be playing it at the end again. How long una go to suffer? It is a song I wrote. And my friend, very good friend, the producer, Smart Monkey Studios produced it. It is a song that talks about a lot of what we are trying to confront in Africa, which is that our people must be able to express their rights to self-determination and to be able to hold their governors to account. These are the things that are very, very important to us. So as you're watching, please continue to give us the thumbs up and share. Now, how does that relate to Africa? You see, when those who are in high positions in the British establishment are supporting the British Army in the racist actions, it filters into the policies and the actions of those who are interacting with Africa. Plain fact. Now, the thing is this. We all know how colonialism has pervaded and actually held back the development of Africa. And we are doing everything in our power to wake our people up. One of the things that colonialism has done and to destroy Africa, on top of this racism that we're seeing, is that the racism, colonialism, they actually imposed on Africa when they came in the Berlin Conference of 1888. They imposed constitution on us that is written in 3 key languages: English language, French language, and the Portuguese language. Morning, Linda. Okay, yeah, I'll be in touch. Yeah, Linda, we'll talk. I'll go live on TikTok later. I'll go live on TikTok. I just had some technical problems. I couldn't do that, so I just thought I'd do it on here now. We'll be back on TikTok later on. We may even cover the very same topic on TikTok, but I need this to be shared on to be live on YouTube. As you're watching, please continue to give us a thumbs up. The more thumbs up you give us, the more it helps the algorithm to share to reach more people. So, like I was saying, the problem in Africa right now that we face, the biggest problem in Africa is that people do not know their rights. Our people they don't know that they have 3 very important things, and they're not able to use it because the language in which 54 of the constitutions written across all of the countries in Africa. In 54 countries, the constitution is written in either English, French, or Portuguese. It is not in African local language. None of it. I've got evidence of this. And if you for more, do follow me. You can watch my other videos that I've been doing, and you will see that on there I've talked about this, many a time. And I've got details, I've got evidences, I've got paperwork to support that. So my videos talk about that and raising awareness. Now, one of the things that we need to do is our people need to know three key things. As an African, that you are sovereign, that you have authority, and you have power. Let me say that again. As an African, you need to know that you are sovereign, you are an African. You are sovereign, you have authority, and you have power. Sovereignty, authority, and power. And what is critical is you need to know these things in your language. So, for example, in the Nigerian Constitution, I'll use Nigerian Constitution as an example. In the Nigerian Constitution, under Section 14(2)(a), it states this: sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. That is what it states in the constitution. Now, when you hear that as an African, it doesn't mean anything to you. Okay, sovereignty, authority, power, you don't connect it to yourself because it's written in a foreign language. And the understanding of those words, many don't have that. But now, I am going to do something that we need others across the whole 54 nations need to do. And we're trying to encourage. And that is this: I'm going to say the same sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives its powers and authority. I'm going to say it in Yoruba so that people, Africans, can understand that. We need that to happen across the whole of 54 African states, that people have their constitution in their local language. And interestingly, if you notice, the Bible, the Quran, is being translated into local languages. They've been translated into local languages. But guess what? The constitution in all 54 countries has not been translated into local languages. Please check what I'm saying. I'd like you to go and check it. I've done extensive research on this, and I've found it to be the case. Everywhere I've gone on all 54 nations, not one of them have the constitution translated into local languages. But the Bible, in all of those 54 countries, and the Quran, is readily available in local languages. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? It is because they want to make sure that the people in Africa do not know that they are sovereign, they have authority, and they have power. Now, let me read to you the Section 14(2)(a) of the Nigerian Constitution in Yoruba language, which I just read moments ago. It states in Yoruba, Abala kẹrìnlá ẹsẹ̀ kejì a, ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni tíjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè gba gbogbo agbára àti àṣẹ rẹ̀. Now, what that means in simple language is what I just said earlier on. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives its powers and authority. Now, I said three key words at the beginning. I said sovereignty, authority, and power. Now, in Yoruba language, sovereignty means Oba Alashe. Authority means Ashe. And finally, power means Agbara. Now, people in the villages and the market women, they know what those words mean in their language. And that is what will trigger them to take action, because now they can connect Oba Alashe, which means sovereignty, Ashe, authority, and Agbara, power. They can connect it to themselves and understand and get a deeper understanding that they indeed possess the powers. Sulaiman and Jay, no. We're talking about the Constitution. We are talking about the Constitution. The Constitution even in Ethiopia is written in English or French. I think it's in English. Yeah, it is. But anyway, that's another story with Ethiopia. But like I said, the thing is that we need those constitutions in local languages. And the reason why we need it is because market women, they don't understand English. Farmers, they don't understand English or French or Portuguese. You know, those working in the villages, they don't have the knowledge of those languages to understand what it means and then be able to use it. So the key thing is to be able to unlock the powers of sovereignty. Our people need to know the constitution in their own language and how to use it. Now, the second part of the Nigerian constitution, there's a 14.2c, states the participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. Now, what that means is this. As a sovereign, you have the power to participate in your governance. The participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. Now, that is really important to understand that step, because from there, once you understand participation, participation is not just about voting at elections. Participation includes, and more importantly, monitoring your government. Now, how do you monitor your government? You now have monthly town hall meetings where you will question your local government chairman, your state of assembly member, your house of reps, your senators. All of this in your local language. So let me say that section 14.2c in Yoruba language, so that you can get an idea of what it sounds like in Yoruba, and then imagine it in your own language as well, for your own constitution. We need this to happen across all the 54 states. And again, a quick salute to Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goita, and General Chani of the Alliance of Sahel States. They're doing a fantastic work, and we support them wholeheartedly. Everything we can, we must do everything we can to protect those three men. And we must make sure that they are allowed, they are no press, there's no propaganda. We will not allow anybody to be spreading false propaganda about the Alliance of Sahel States. Now, let me go and translate section 14.2c. Section 14.2 states in Yoruba, abala kẹrin láìsẹ̀ kejì sí ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn nínú ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí màá tún sọ, abala kẹrin láìsẹ̀ kejì sí ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn nínú ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè. I've been the one doing the translation that you're hearing me say. I've had to go and read the words in English and then translate it into Yoruba language. And now the object is now to make sure those translations goes to the communities, goes to the farmers, the market women, the vulcanizers, the hairdressers, the shoemakers, the clothes makers, all businesses, for you to know your constitution in your local language. Because what that means is that you are no longer removed from the process of governance. You now, having the knowledge in your local language, you can call town hall meetings where you can question those in government, your local government chairman, state house of assembly member, your house of reps, your senators, your governors. You can question them. You can question them. Robin Stafford, thank you very much. You can question them in your local language. It is really important that that begins to happen. In all 54 African countries, this is not the case. And this alludes, and that is what is telling, what they did by keeping the constitution in foreign languages was to reduce Africans to being less than human, to have no authority, to have no power. So for you to know anything or to be able to use power, you had to speak the languages. They connected, they psychologically made sure millions of Africans connected knowledge with the language in which they were reading the constitution. So if you are Nigerian, to get good knowledge, you have to speak good English. If you are Cameroonian, to get good knowledge, you have to speak good French. If you are from, I think it's which country, any Portuguese country, to get good knowledge, you have to get that knowledge in the language of the colonizer. Reducing your own language, they reduced African language to zero, worthless, that it was of no benefit for you to be able to conversate, to be able to exchange, to be able to learn in your local language. When I was growing up in Nigeria, I learned in secondary school. I read Yoruba. I was taught my Yoruba language, and we were using it in several subjects in Nigeria. But I'm afraid, sadly, it's not the case now. What is promoted is foreign languages, and this is why I am advocating that all African countries, because it's similar, the same situation. When I was astonished when I found that This was exactly the same situation in all 54 African nations. Now, let me take away 3 nations from that particular process. The fact that Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, Assimi Goïta of Mali, and General Chiani of Niger, they are standing up for Africans. They are creating jobs for Africans on the African continent. They are building the people. They are building they're giving the jobs to the people. They are creating, Ibrahim Traore, he bought tractors. Rather than buy a flash new car, he bought tractors. He bought tractors, thousands of tractors for farmers, so they can farm in Burkina Faso. He bought ambulances and mobile medical hospitals that will be going into the communities, into the villages and towns to provide health care. That is the reality of what he's doing. He's actually also, he's nationalized. He's taking back all the mines from all the foreign countries. And now they're building their own mines so they can mine gold and finish everything themselves in Burkina Faso. Again, putting powers in the hands of the people. He's also teaching his open polytechnics, where people will be taught how to build bridges and skyscrapers, and be able to use that engineering skills that they will need across the whole nation. He's also got the nation to be, he's signed a deal, a memorandum of understanding with Russia to build nuclear power reactor that will be used to power the economy. Because now they will need energy. If you're going to do mining, you're going to need a lot of energy. If you're going to mine or do any manufacturing, you're going to need constant power. And the constant power, you get that through nuclear power. And that's the first thing that he's doing. Again, in Mali and other places, they are doing the same things. And also, he's now made sure that he's pulled Burkina Faso out of the CFA. The CFA has been used to steal the wealth of Africa. The CFA has been used to steal the wealth of Africa in 14 African countries. And in fact, the French was using this compulsory demand that any money that they made, that those 14 countries made, had to be sent to the French Central Bank. And then they will now print CFA for them. Now, keep in mind, France does not use CFA. France uses euro. So they were taking the wealth of many countries. They were taking it into France and keeping the people impoverished. So they are very, very right. He did what Gaddafi wanted. He have his own treasure bank. Exactly, Suleiman. Well said. So he has his own bank. Now the gold of Burkina Faso, when they mine it and they finish it, it's going straight to the central bank of Burkina Faso. This is empowering Africans. This is literally empowering us. And we need to support. That's why I'm calling on every African. Please, on your platform, make sure you mention something about Ibrahim Traore every day. Make sure you talk about him. Make sure that people are aware of what he's doing, the great work of the great man. It is very, very important that we raise that awareness. The injustice that we've gone on to, that we suffered for too long, is totally unacceptable. And this is exemplified by what has happened to Kerry-Ann Knight in the British Army. That racism that she faces is what we collectively face in Africa. When you see that when they're going to give you a loan, an African country, they put high interest on it. But if an European country wants to get a loan, there's hardly any interest. The UK prints its own, the US prints its own dollar, and there is no consequence. When they print more dollar, there is no consequence. The IMF doesn't say, hang on, we're gonna fine you because you've printed dollars. We're gonna fine you because you are not following the economic policies. But if it's an African country, that is racism. That is what I call financial racism. That is what is deeply embedded financial racism. The IMF and the World Bank continuously want to keep Africa enslaved, to make sure that we are having to pay loans. We have to pay loans for loans that we don't need. Africa doesn't need loans. Africa needs to be left alone. In many of the African countries, again, this is racism. Many of the Western colonial countries come into Africa and take our resources for free. They were taking it for free. In the case of Niger, for over 40 years, France was taking the resources, was taking nuclear, the uranium, was taking uranium from Niger for 40 years. And they were paying the equivalent of 70 cents in the euro for 1 kilo of uranium. Now that Niger has freed itself, they have to pay for that same uranium at 200 euros per kilo. That is again financial racism. So the financial racism is also, there's financial racism. There is actually racism to the person that has happened to Kerry-Ann Knight. This is what we are saying on the African continent. And if you notice, many of the bases that the Western countries say they want to protect people in those countries, the bases are a cover for creating situations where terrorists and others, they will go and train terrorists in army bases, arm them to go and disrupt the communities. And they target areas where there are mineral resources. If you go and look at the bases that almost all the bases, military bases of the Western powers, they are concentrated around the areas where there is a high concentration of mineral resources on the African continent. So they are not there to protect the people. They are there to create distrust and everything else, to cause disharmony, to cause tribal wars, whilst they loot our resources. So we have to be very aware of this. So there is financial racism, there is economic racism, and there is personal, person-to-person racism. The entire structure, the entire colonial structure on the African continent is built on racism. And that is what I wanted to connect tonight, to make sure you understand. I've given you the example where the Constitution was written in and prevented from being translated into local languages because they didn't want people to be able to hold their government to account, to participate in their governance. They wanted the people to believe as a slave. And of course, another thing is that the religions of Islam and Christianity was imposed deliberately on the people to prevent them from actually questioning things. You see, with those religions tell you, this is how it is. You don't have the right to question anything. You just accept it and you live with it. And that is what has been going on. Now, with the programs like myself and others, we are trying to raise the awareness. As an African, your most important thing right now is to know that you are spiritual. We in Africa, we practice spirituality. If you are practicing the religion of Islam and Christianity, they tell you that you have to only support their God. And in so doing, they control your thinking. They control your mind. They control everything that you're doing. And that is what has been happening up to date. So we are here to wake us up as Africans. As you're watching this, share this broadcast. Please share, and share. And like you said, Gaddafi was trying to create and whereby you could link our currency to our resources. And of course, he was unalived. Now, Traore is doing it already. And he's making sure that nothing happens, and we are all watching out. I saw that the Western press, they keep saying that Ibrahim Traore or Assimi Goïta of Mali or General Chiani, that they are always they're unaliving their own people. It's a false narrative. They are trying to find an excuse to go back in and take over control and continue to loot African resources. We know what they're doing. Many of us, including myself and many others, we are aware. We are watching what is going on in the Alliance of Sahel states. And as we speak, I can tell you authoritatively that the Western powers are amassing in Ivory Coast. The French, the US, and all of the Western powers, they are trying to amass in Ivory Coast and in using Benin as well to be able to launch an attack to disrupt the Alliance of Sahel states. Nobody on the African continent is going into EU to disrupt what is happening in EU. So what gives them the right to disrupt what Africans want to happen on the African continent? They don't have that right. We are telling them now, we reject their interference in Africa. their very interference in the development of Africa has held Africa back. And they've been taking and taking and taking all our mineral resources, our gold, our oil, our diamond, our phosphate, our copper, our lithium, our, you name it. They've just been taking, and they've been using wars. They've been using military wars to disrupt the people from knowing what is really going on, to cause intertribal wars. Whilst that is happening, they are looting our resources. We've seen, and I've got pictures of UN trucks laden with gold looted from the Congo and other places. We've seen planes flying out at night from Nigeria, from Congo, where it's laden with mineral resources that belongs rightfully to Africans. That is why we are trying to make this change, No. What was in Ethiopia is not Christianity. No. That wasn't Christianity in the format it is. It is a different religion, and they have a different name for it, Yeshua. We're not going to go into that. So Christianity is a very different thing from the real practice of the Ethiopians. So we're not going to go for that one. Okay. So this is very important. We need our people to be aware. Thank you very much, Dorothea. As you are all watching, please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Very important. Hit the like button. As we're watching, we really like that number to go up. There's over 150 people watching us right now, and I'm really grateful for that. But I'd like you to, very, very importantly, hit the like button as you're watching. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Let that number go up, because that way it will reach more people. We need to have this kind of honest and truthful discussion among ourselves. Greetings, C. Mangal. Think greetings. We need to have this honest discussion among ourselves. We need to wake up our people. What has been going on? Yeah, that's why they create tribal wars and gangs. Fear and distrust gives them power. Exactly. Michelle White. Exactly. So we are saying this now, that what happened to Kerry-Ann Knight is the same thing that is happening on the African continent. There is a direct connection with the way and the manner in which Kerry-Ann Knight was racially abused, and on a daily basis on the African continent. What we are experiencing through the policies of the West is blatant, covert, overt policy of racism against Africans relentlessly. Now, I'm going to go on to another topic again quickly on top of the to really explain this Sierra Leone, Temba Keta. Thank you very much. Yeah. So what we are facing: financial racism, economic racism, medical racism, religious racism. You name it. These are systems of racism to keep Africans in check on the African continent. Now, you don't see any African in Europe or US trying to stop Africa, just trying to stop Europe from doing what they want to do on their continent. But the very EU is controlling. There was a General Land came and said, "Oh, if we don't stop what is going on in the Alliance of Sahel states, we will lose. We will not be able to. It's going to be a real danger for Europe." But what about the people of Africa? That our resources have been stolen for over 500 years. They are stolen from us for over 500 years. And we have the right to those resources. And that's why I keep reminding us. We need to know that we have sovereignty, we have authority, and we have power. And we are here to really encourage us all to know this across the whole of the African continent. The sub-Africans are enslaved as we speak, in Arab countries also. And these are all racism. The entire policy of oppressing and suppressing Africans is based around racism. And we are tired of it. Yes, Temba Keta. Yes, we the African need to come together and think the right way. I agree with you. And this is why we need to reorientate our thinking. The religions of Islam and Christianity is not for Africans. It is designed to control the mind of Africans. Hear me well. The religions of Islam and Christianity is not for Africans. We are spiritual beings. We have our own ways of doing things that works just as well. For thousands of years, our ancestors practiced the spirituality, and their kingdom existed for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Great kingdoms. Kingdom of Benin, Oyo Empire, Songhai Empire, Ashanti Empire, Mali Empire. Many empires existed without the need for Islam or Christianity. But once they came in, they started holding back the development of Africa. So as an African, we need to understand. No, we don't need to go and learn Arabic. Arabic is not the word. Listen to what you just said. Arabic is actually from Arabia. It is not African. It is not African. So if they are teaching people there, it has been an imported religion. It is not African. We have to be very clear about that. But I don't want to go into the specifics of religion. What I'm trying to make us to understand as Africans is we need to free our mind. It is time to free our minds collectively and connect with our ancestors. I proudly believe in Eshu. Now, Christianity came in 1852 in Nigeria, in what is now Nigeria, in Yoruba land, and told my ancestors that our Eshu is the same, equates to Satan, which is a lie, by Owen Emmerich Vidal, the bishop designate of the Church Christian Missionary Society in 1852. He came with a lie to equate our Eshu, which is our God, a deity that all Yorubas believe fervently in. He equated it with Satan, which is a lie. And these are the kind of things that's really destroyed the mentality of many Africans. We are trying to break free from that. Look, if you want to practice Christianity in Europe, please go ahead, knock yourself off, do what you want. But to impose it on people and then using that to now stop them from thinking critically to actually stand up and use their resources, that is exploitation. That in itself is racism. To put down somebody else's culture and tell them that their spirituality is no good to them, but they must practice yours, is racism. It is racism, either from the Christians or from Islam. If you come into a country, we are very welcoming on the African continent. We welcome people. But that welcome has been exploited. And that's why we need to now make sure on the African continent, we must do exactly what Assimi Goïta of Mali is doing. Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso is doing. And what General Chiani of Niger is doing, which is to protect Africans and make sure that for the first time in over 500 years, Africans begin to benefit from the resources beneath their feet. The entire colonial structure that is there now, that you call IMF, World Bank, World Health Organization, United Nations, they are all racist systems. I kid you not. They are all systems of racism, and these are things that, these are things we need to really begin to let our people know. So we have to go back to learning. As Africans, we need to speak our language. I am proud. I'm a proud Yoruba man. I am a Yoruba man. I come from Oyo Empire. My line, I can trace my lineage back to the old Oyo Empire. That is how. And my great grandfather was a great chief working with the kings in Lagos and Ogun State. I have pictures of the man here. I'm not just telling you stories. I have pictures of the man here. I have the pictures of the man here. That man. So I know my history. What we need is many of us to know this. I know my history. I know who I am. And I know as an African that connecting and doing the ways of our ancestors on the African continent is now the only way for us. They keep imposing this religion, and the religion is racism. To impose religion that is foreign to other people onto them is racism. You hear me? I need you to understand me. The imposition of the religions of Islam and Christianity on the African mind is racism. It's got to stop. And what Ibrahim Traoré has started doing in protecting the resources for the people, employing his people to do the work, to build the bridges, to build the skyscrapers, to work, to mine the gold, to do all of that for their benefit is the way to go. I'm encouraging all Africans to support Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, Assimi Goïta of Mali, General Chani of Niger. The alliance of Sahel states must be expanded to put a stop to what happened to Kerry-Ann. The only way to stop what happened to Kerry-Ann Knight in the British Army, where they were blatantly racist towards her. Let me play you what she said, and I'm going to play the bit where she was crying, so you understand. I need you to connect this. Let us go here. Right, let me go. I want to play the place where she was crying. I'm not happy about it. There's a picture that she's showing that they put things around her, and I want you to hear that actually. I want you to hear that. Let me just play that up. 1 second. So we are constantly under racist pressure, both on the African continent and outside of the continent. This is constant pressure, constant racism in all form. If you are working in the UK as a black man, you don't get the same wage as an European. Let's go there. That's the fact. I know what I'm saying. I worked in the transport, London Underground. Only barely 1% of the employees, barely 1% of them are in major senior roles. At that time, and even now when I checked, it's not even 2% that are in senior managerial roles. This is constant racism that we are facing wherever we are, either at home in our own land or even in their own land. These are the realities. Let us speak truth to power. And I'm not saying this as a hate. I'm stating this is a statement of fact. Now, let me tell you what she's saying here. Please do share this podcast. It's important that we reach more people with this podcast. Please give us thumbs up. More thumbs up as you're watching.
Allegations of bullying.
Listen.
Kerry-Ann says she witnessed it, but she too suffered at the hands of her fellow white male instructors.
You see? Listen.
They pile everything daily on my desk, so just to show me that I'm not welcomed. And I remember one day they took a photo of me just standing at that desk, looking slightly broken, just having to sort out that rubbish before I can use my desk. They'd have Django Unchained playing.
So they put rubbish on her desk, and then they will take a picture of her trying to clear that rubbish. And they're playing Django Unchained. What does that do? What do you think that does to a person? They were trying to psychologically break her. And that is what is happening on the African continent. They tell us that we are poor. They come to Africa. They take our resources. Then they tell us we are poor. Then they blame us for being poor. These are realities of what is going on. And we need to explain this as Africans. The time for silence is over. That era of being psychologically, bowed by falsehood, by sheer lies, that's gone. As I'm talking to you, go and look on all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, wherever, whatever. Africans are speaking up, and rightly so. Oh, thank you very much, Semanga 123. Thank you for subscribing. As you're watching, give us thumbs up, please. I'd like to see the thumbs up. We'd really like that. Let's see the like go up. Let's see. There's only 9. There's 163 people watching us right now, and there's only 9 likes. That should really improve. Let it go up. Let's get to 100. Let's get to 100 likes right now as we're watching. And I'll just play a bit more of what Kerry-Ann Knight is saying. Let us get to 100. Let's go ahead.
They would repeat the most, say, racist lines, and then they'd chuckle. They spoke outright in the office about lynching me, simply because I'd put in a complaint. And it was suggested for me to be tar and feathered.
Rather than root out the racism, she says the army closed ranks to protect the organization.
That is what we face as well. When we try to do something now, look at now. Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Goïta, General Chani, they are trying to protect Africans from this. Thank you very much, Asaf Ben Judah. Thank you. And please do continue to hit the like and also subscribe to us as you're watching. The same thing, the same way they closed ranks and, said, oh, nothing happened. Oh, no, they're right. That is what they're trying to do now with Assimi Goïta of Mali, Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, and General Chiani. Africans are now trying to say, no, we want to protect our resources and make our people benefit from it. And they are now trying to project, the mainstream media are now trying to project and categorize these great men from those three countries of the Alliance of Sahel States as terrorists, as people who are unaliving their own people, so that they can justify the action of invading those who wish to be free from this system. It is the same thing with what happened with Kerry-Ann Knight. Can you see the connection between what is happening to an individual and the colonial structure on the African continent right now? These are what we are talking about. We're not here trying to abuse. You see, I don't need to abuse anybody. It doesn't solve anything. What we need to do as Africans to identify what is holding us back. And there are puppets. What is sad is that there are puppets in Ivory Coast. There are puppets in Benin. There are puppets in Ghana supporting the system oppressing their very own people. I want you to think about that. These are hand-picked puppets who will call leaders. They're not leaders, they're puppets of the West who will jump to whatever the West wants them to do. And they'll get, and Ruto of Kenya. These are puppets, and we have to call them out. There are puppets even in my own country, Nigeria. I'm sorry to say it. I'm not trying to be abusive, but these are the facts. And they are wedded to impoverishing their own people. And this is why we're saying that as Africans, we are psychologically, we are never allowed to even have a moment's rest psychologically. You are always thinking about, okay, oh, I see what's going on. You are always on guard. No, it's not generational causes. No, this is systemic. This is systemic. Nothing to do with generational causes. We have identified the system. The system is designed. How is it possible that a system will tell me that my money is worthless, that I am poor, but they come to my country and take my gold, take my oil, take my copper, take everything from my country, and they tell me I am poor. They take it to fix their own country, to make it great. But they keep telling me I'm poor. They show pictures of me, of my people with big stomach, with kwashoko, with this, with bad roads and everything else that they created. This is a creation. Impoverishment, poverty is a Western creation on the African continent. Let me say that slowly so you understand. Poverty is a Western creation on the African continent. We're not poor. If you grow anything, I've lived in Nigeria, in Africa. If you put corn into the soil, 3 days, it starts growing. Same thing with yam. Same thing with tomatoes. Same thing with vegetables. Whatever you grow, we have fertile land. Poverty is not something that is part of Africa. It has been brought in, and it's been brought in to justify, to try and portray a false narrative that Africa is poor. But if Africa is poor, please tell us, why is it that the West are continuously coming into Africa and taking our resources? You can't have it both ways. What is it? Are we poor, or are you looting our resources? By the evidence of what we can see, the evidence of your actions, all of the Western countries, all the G7s, they are all involved in this. Canada, UK, France, Germany, Italy, US, and then Japan. They are all involved in it. Let us call it what it is. Africans, the time we speak about, this is not about hate. We are talking about a system. And we want people in Europe to understand, energy vampires. We want the people of Europe and the US to understand that in their name, their governments they are carrying out genocide against Africans. In the Congo, for example, 90 million people have been unalived because of the resources in the Congo. And that started from the time of King Leopold. He unalived 20 million. There's been more since then. But you will never hear this talked about anywhere on the mainstream media. Well, that's going to stop now. We Africans, we are going to be mentioning this on our platforms, on all the platforms, not just me alone. So if you think you can silence myself and that will stop it, no. We all know. If you go and look, there are millions of platforms now. We are now speaking out. And we don't rely on the mainstream media anymore. Whatever they spew, we use our own thinking, go and do research and come back and disprove it. This is, Mansa Musa is the greatest man that ever lived. Yes. So, what I'm saying to you is this. When a system is telling us repeatedly, and then they use religion to say, oh, God has ordained it, that they are going to be the ones who are meant to govern this earth. What nonsense? What God? What God? Does he write? Can your God write? Does he have a pen? Does a pen... Now, let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. Does your God have a pen? So where did he write this way? Where did the God? Did he come down and write? Yes, in this earth, Caucasians will be the ones who are going to rule, and everybody has to bow. When did he write it? What year? Please tell me. How did he write it? So if he wrote it in your language, does that apply to me? I have to bow to it. Really? See, this is the kind of thinking. The kind of thinking. And I'm going to go further. Let us go further. Please, as you're watching, please give us thumbs up. More thumbs up. Yeah, they mock us into momu by hating each other, Caribbeans and Africans. Exactly. So we are waking up to try and make you understand that we need to make this change. You and I. And then I want to thank so much Dr. Arika Nachumbo. What a great woman. She opened the eyes of many. I've known a lot of things, and I've been doing some work behind the scenes. But what she did, when she started talking about the Berlin Conference, oh, wow. CA. Do you know that before you wrote that, our thoughts are in tune? I was going to say Berlin Conference, and you wrote it. You see, this is organic. This is now in the air. Whoever is trying to stop Africa from rising, you failed. It is already failed. Because the energies that we're sharing is unstoppable. It's not us. Our ancestors are joining us now. They are with us. Whatever you do to try and stop Africa from rising, it will fail. It has already failed. This injustice must stop. And I am not afraid speaking truth to power. I'm not. And we have to continue to awaken our youths. The injustice that we have collectively faced on that continent has gone on long enough. And from here on, we need to speak truth to power, support those who are working for the betterment of Africans on the African continent. As I speak to you right now, there are hundreds and hundreds of Africans who are dying in the Mediterranean Sea because they are seeking a better life, because they don't have the knowledge. This is why I talk about sovereignty, authority, and power. They do not have the knowledge that in their land lies the wealth that the colonials are using to build their nations. In their land. Many of them, because of the religions of Islam and Christianity, they believe that the only way forward for them is to live where the resources are with them, to go and serve and be slaves and be working in kitchens. Many Africans, I've seen these videos. There are many Africans. When you go around in the evenings in the UK, in France, when the businesses are closing, you will see Africans, 4, 5, 6, going to clean those businesses. That's the work we're doing. Cleaning. We are cleaning or old age care. That is what we're doing. When we've untold riches in our land. And this is why I keep saying to you all, we must. Hello, Joseph Chinyang. Hello. This is why I say to us, we need to have the constitution in our local languages. And you know what? The beauty of having that is that when we see what is in the constitution in our language, we will change it to suit us. But if it's in English, in French, or Portuguese, you don't know what it is, so you just accept it. And this is what is wrong with the situation. You see, Greetings, Zion Fida. So please speak truth to power. The Berlin Conference is the single most destructive. Ashe. Please, thank you very much. Please share this broadcast. I already know that our ancestors are with us. You see, I'm not doing this of my own choosing alone. This is something that our ancestors have actually sort of told me to do. So I'm not just coming and just saying this. And there are information that I don't even know sometimes that comes up, So we need to continue. Yeah, come on, que amigo. Thank you, Joseph Chiang. Thank you very much. Now, let's continue to raise the awareness. Now, let me go and talk to you about, let me bring one or two things again. Look at this thing about monkeypox right now. Look at what is going on with the monkeypox. I need you to know, everybody watching here, this monkeypox came from Denmark in 1958. Please quote me. The monkeypox came from Denmark in the Institute of Medicines or whatever they call it in Denmark. There was a zoo. They have a zoo in Denmark. In that zoo, they brought monkeys from Asia into that zoo. Now, from that zoo, they took the monkeys into the lab. They did whatever they did, and then they came up with monkeypox. And then they brought that monkeypox and infected a child in Africa. So please, let's be very, very clear. When they say monkeypox comes from Africa, it didn't come from Africa. There is paperwork. Let me go and get it for you. I need to read it to you, and I will show you. I've shown programs about this. Let us debunk all of this. We need to speak truth to power. This is injustice. We cannot be allowing this kind of injustice to go on. Whatever the consequences they want to put us on for speaking truth to power, let us do it. And the more all of us do it, the more we free Africa from this bondage. Because Africa has been put in bondage by those who know willfully, who are willfully lying against Africans, portraying negative, Africa in negative light. Oh, we are poor. We are. We don't have goods. We don't have road. We don't have light. Our kids are. All of this. These are projections, negative projections, continuously, consistently. This is like a 24/7, relentless, for us to never ever think outside where they've placed us in that box. I'm telling you, you must step out of that box as Africans. The time is now. Let me get that information for you, and I'll read it out. Because I just need to. I don't just talk. I do a lot of research, and I would urge you to do the same. Please go on Google and confirm what I'm saying. Don't just take my word for it. Let me get that out. So here we are. Camera roll. I'm going to just type it, and I'm going to read to you what it said. Monkeypox. Yeah. Okay. Where is it now? Denmark. If I can find it. Aha. Okay. So, I have an information here. I'm going to read it to you. So, the history of monkeypox XV was first isolated in 1958 from the vesiculopustular lesions found on infected cynomolgus maquis imported to the State Serum Institute of Copenhagen, Denmark. During the next few years, similar outbreaks were reported in monkey colonies in the USA and in the zoo in Rotterdam, Netherlands. They don't tell you all of this stuff. But they're here telling you that monkeypox came from Africa. You see, this is, you're welcome. Please share this broadcast. Share. We need to speak truth to power. Whatever is going to happen, let it happen. But this truth, I want it to wake up Africans. You cannot be telling me that I'm poor, and then you come into my continent and take my resources, and then you blame me for being poor, and you create the conditions for me being poor. You prevent, and when we are trying to free ourselves, you take out the leaders that are trying to free us. They took out Gaddafi. They took out Patrice Lumumba. They took out what's the name? Amilcar Cabral. They took out great leaders. They took out in 50s. They took out 6 powerful leaders of Africa. that was working to build a better Africa. They took them out. And they suffer no consequences. And yet they have the temerity to be standing in front of me. Thomas Sankara, thank you. To be standing in front of me and saying Africa is poor. Oh, democracy. Africans, I need you to understand. I just told you about monkeypox. There's more. Ebola. Ebola was not created, did not come from Africa. Ebola was in a place, was created in a lab, in a place called Potton Down, Wiltshire, UK. Yes. Look, let us just speak truth. This is what we are facing. 24/7 on the African continent. We are not left alone to develop. They need to keep Africa in a state of confusion whilst they extract our resources. And we have to put a stop to this. We have to put a stop to this injustice. Every time Ebola comes from Africa, monkeypox comes from Africa, HIV comes from Africa, all of it is lab created. It's lab created in Europe, in the US. And then they now project that to us. And they use the social media, the mainstream media, to blast the message. It's Africa, it's Africa. This is a next. Look, how many of you remember We Are the World? We are the world, we are the future. Did you know it was another way to portray Africa as a poor and blighted place that needs help? Let me tell you right now, Africa is the one feeding and helping the Western system. Without Africa, Europe will be nothing. Without the looting of African resources, Europe would be nothing. I'm saying it categorically. I'm not saying it as an anger. I'm just telling you the facts. Because they have been looting. Likewise in Arabia now, in the Arabs as well. The UAE, they found that they are looting African gold. It is a conduit where the looted resources of Africa goes to. And then they sell it. And then they say they are rich. Look, Africans, it's time to wake up. Yes, exactly. This is what the war against Russia is about. So please, and another thing, just on this thing about what she said, Kerry-Ann Knight, I want to say this. Please continue as you're watching. I'd really like it if you can give us more thumbs up. There's over 226 people watching this broadcast live right now. Please, let's get to at least 200. Because we want the algorithm to get this out to the people so that we can begin to really, make us know what's going on and, begin to wake up our African mind. We've been put in a box by these false religions of Islam and Christianity. We are spiritual people, right? And we need to make sure that we speak truth to power and we free our people. We've been put in a great, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, repost it on your page, yeah. We need our people to really wake up. There is so much disinformation by the mainstream media about Africans. And they expect us to be quiet about what they're saying about us. The We Are the World thing was about resources. Making Africans look, oh, they need poor, they need help. Yet they are the ones in Africa, night and day, taking our resources. Planes are flying out of the Congo, where 90 million plus people have been unalived. 90 million. And they say we are poor. And they keep going in. And they now go to the same place now and they now say monkeypox came from there. You're hearing from me now. Monkeypox came from Denmark in 1958 in the lab, in the Statens Serum Institute. Statens Serum Institute in Denmark. Please go and do this research. Don't take my word for it. These are what we need to speak. Say it out. Because we are under psychology. So Africans are under so much psychological pressure that we don't even realize it. And when you step away from, just when you think, oh, you've stepped out, okay, the pressure never leaves you. Anywhere on this planet, if you are interacting with this system, you are under constant racist behaviors, racist acts, racist policy. It never stops. 24/7. 24/7. These are the facts. And they are telling you to bow to something that something illegal. As an African, you know in your mind something is wrong. You're working out, something is wrong, but you can't fix it. You can't work out what it is. To work out what it is, start looking at what is going on. Start researching. Start finding out information and share it. Have a platform. Talk to people. This is not about hate. Again, I'm saying it. There are many Europeans that have come up to me and say this. In fact, a lady told me this. She said the G7 is all about exploiting the African resources. Point blank. She told me this point blank. Point blank. It's about exploiting African resources. So when we talk about that Africa doesn't have a good democracy, that is not the intention of the democracy they give Africa. The intention of the democracy is to allow for them to put puppets in place to never have a truly fair system where people can actually, the best man wins. Every democracy in Africa is all about selection. They give you an illusion that you are a democracy. It's nonsense. You know? 65 books of the Bible. Oh, well, look, I'm not interested in that. You know, look, the Bible and the Quran are being used to control the mind of Africans. You say you know the Bible, but you know the Quran, but you don't know your rights. You don't know that you are sovereign. You don't know you have authority. You don't know that you have power over your land. You don't know that you have power over your government to hold them to account. These powers are available to the people in Europe, the people in US. They can hold, well, when I say US, certain set of people in the US, because we also know what is going on there. You know, that's another story. I don't want to go into that too much. But I'm here to really make us understand that what we're saying here, the physical racism, there is this personalized racism that we're facing, and the globe and the systemic racism. There is the personal, person-to-person racism that we're faced with when we go into the systems where they've actually psychologically make us believe that we're weaker. And then there's the systemic racism that encompasses every policy that they're doing. Every policy that they're doing on the African continent. And it's time we put a stop to it. And they must stop interfering in the development of Africa. In the 50s and 60s, 6 great African leaders, including Patrice Lumumba, Amilcar Cabral, Momo, something of Congo. Let me see if I can get I'll get information out to you. Because we got to call out all of this stuff. We need to call it out. This system, you know, this system is so designed to keep us underfoot, so much so that we cannot breathe. And we are still viewed, I'm telling you, still after, we're in 2024, and we are still viewed as less than human. We are still viewed as chattel. Why else would you prevent people from knowing their rights by imposing languages that they don't speak on them, writing laws in the language they don't speak in their continent, whilst their resources are leaving those continents? You're not viewed. You're not seen as a human being. I'm telling you facts. I'm telling you the facts of the matter. And this is what we need to break down on the African continent. We have our own system of governance. I know about my ancestral ways of how they governed. We had Oba, we had the Bashonu, you know, we had a system. We had interconnecting, we had kingdoms that were paying dues into Nigeria, into your empire, that were protected. And they existed for thousands of years. And then you are now telling me this is the only system of government that will work is your so-called democracy that Africans must follow. Nah. No. Enough of this. We must make sure. Yeah, we will restore the name of Africa as Benjuda. All of that in time. But I'm here to make you understand that we have to resist now what France and US and UK are trying to do in trying to take back, to try and put Alliance of Sahel states back under their control and continue to exploit, is a threat to the whole of Africa. And we have to salute Russia. Don't get me wrong. Russia have their own interest. I'm clear about that. They are out for their own interest. And nobody will be out to do anything for free. They know the strategic importance of what Africa is. Africa is the most resource-endowed continent on the planet, bar none. They know that. So what they want to do is to have some of that. And what Traore is saying, okay, we can trade. I can do trade with you, but it's on my terms. And that is far better. Then over time, Africa will make sure, we have to make sure we have our own military structure in place. All of those countries that have been put on us, all of those 54 countries, they are designed to ensure that Africans were divided and the resources can be taken out of Africa. They are not real nations. Africa should ultimately be one continent with various kingdoms in it, allowing Africans to move freely and do what we want. As I speak to you, Africans are not free to move freely across Africa, but Europeans can move freely across Africa. Let me say that again. As I speak to you, Africans cannot move freely across Africa. Like like you do in Europe. In Europe, with your pass or whatever, you can move from Luxembourg, you can go to Spain, or from Italy, you can go to Portugal or to UK or to Czechoslovakia. You can move freely because the union allows that, and you are European. As an African, get this: you are an African, but you cannot move freely in Africa. And they tell us it's democracy. What kind of democracy? What democracy is that? When we are not able to move freely among ourselves, we cannot trade among ourselves. Before, 14 countries before were not able to trade with others, with other countries around the world under France. Now it's down to 11 because Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they pulled out. They pulled out of because they've now broken free. They are now able to trade with Russia or whoever they want. How is it that France can be telling Africans in the land, whatever you want to trade, you go through me first? What absurdity is that? Before you trade with anybody, you have to get clearance from me. And France, as I speak to you now, those countries that are still under the control of France, if they don't do what France tells them, France says they have the right to militarily interfere and impose who they want on those countries right now. That's the fact. Let us say the fact as it is. That is the pure fact of what is going on. And I'm stating this for us as Africans to wake up. Please continue to like the broadcast. Get the likes up. Let's get to 100 likes, 200 likes. There's over 200 people watching now. Steadily. I'd really like it for you to please subscribe to Citizen AY, hit notification button, give us thumbs up, and of course super chat to help us, because we are going to be giving you more and more research, and we're bringing it on the platform for you to be able to learn and grow. Yes, Africa is not the original name. I know it's our Kebulan, but we will talk about that later on. What I'm trying to do right now is we need to understand that racism takes many forms, and we are under constant racist pressure as individuals and collectively. And we need to really understand that we are under relentless, and I mean literally relentless, 24/7 round the clock racism. It is relentless in all manner, in all shapes, and at every opportunity. I just told you, if you go to Europe between the time of between 5 and 6 in the evening, watch the amount of Africans who are going out to do cleaning jobs in the offices. As the offices are closing and the Europeans are going home to the office, to the home, Africans are coming in Europe to go and clean the offices, to take out the bins, to wash the toilets, to do. These are all psychological. Let us call it out what it is. These are all psychological. This is a way to make you say, to remind, psychologically telling you your place is at the bottom and you must stay there. Plain fact. Notwithstanding that, we are the people who design the phones, design calculation for the so-called space thing. That's another story. Design so many things. The pyramids. Look, it's got to stop. And it will only stop when we speak up. and when we take collective action. Again, I want to reiterate, right now on the African continent, we need to ensure that in all 54 countries, as they currently are, everybody must know their rights, that they are sovereign, they have authority, and they have power in their local language. Sovereignty, authority, and power over their land. Every African must know that. You know the funny thing about this stuff, about what I just had recently. In South Africa, right? In 1892, what's his name again? Cecil Rhodes came up with the Land Reform Act. Before then, 100% of the land belonged to Africans. After the Land Reform Act, where he forced Africans to go and pay money to prove that they could have, that is their land, and they couldn't prove it, that land was gone. The land, the 100% of the land that belonged to Africans ended up that Africans only having 80%, 8% of a land that they owned 100%. Yes. Africans collectively only owned 7% and 8% of their own land. Not in Europe. And this is all down to the Land Reform Act of Cecil Rhodes. I'm asking unapologetically. Cecil Rhodes never liked black people. Let me read you something. He never liked black people. He said that they should not be on his land. Hang on, I'm sorry. You were born in Hertfordshire. He's born in Hertfordshire, and is telling me that we shouldn't be. Can you see the absurdity of and that is what is to be? Do you know, as I speak to you now, in South Africa, 73% of the land is still in the hands of those of the descendants of those who colonized, who took over the land. 73%. The over 54 million Africans are on 23% of their own land, 26 or 27% of their own land. And get this, if you are a South African black, you're not free to go around on Africa. But if you're a South African white, guess what? You can go anywhere in Africa. Oh, man, we need to wake up. These are, how do you explain the backstabbing and competitive mentality among... this is about divide and rule. CA, it's divide and rule. What they've done, they have so seeped into our way of doing things, and they've so put this pressure on us. That is why I don't blame certain people sometimes. When you are under the spell of colonialism that is hydra-headed, so you got religion on one side, then you have racism on the other side, and you have money. Money is a way to control. Oh, don't worry. Whatever you want, we'll give you the money. Okay, in fact, don't worry about the money. Whatever you want, we'll give you, as long as you give us access to the resources in your land. This is what many of the leaders are facing. And that is why they took out Gaddafi. They didn't want Africa to have our currency tied to our gold, our resources. But the US, they want us to be gauging our currency against their own value. That way, they can dictate what the value of our currency, and they can strip us of our own wealth through currency. Oh man, let me get this word about Cecil Rhodes out quickly. I want to just show you one of the things, and you tell me. If a man who says that black men do not deserve to be on the, own the resources, own the land, we have to make sure that they work. We have to make them understand that they have to work. They will have to work. They are changing how they're doing things from now on. Does that kind of man deserve to be buried on the same African continent? I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking a simple question. Does he deserve to be on that continent? That's a question I'm asking. Yeah. Listen to this. This is Rhodes' views. He says, Rhodes' view was that black people needed to be driven off their land. I need you to understand that Rhodes was born in Hertfordshire. Yes, in the UK. And this is the same man that is telling an African on his own continent that we should be driven off their land. Okay? Stimulate them to labor and change their habits. It must be brought to them, Rhodes said, that in future, 9/10 of them will have to spend their lives in manual labor. And the sooner that is brought home to them, the better. These are the words of Cecil Rhodes. They don't want you to know on this mainstream media. These are the words spoken by Cecil Rhodes. You can begin to see the foundation, the real foundation of the exploitation of Africa. See that? So tell me, how do you view this? I'm just asking a question. With the words I just read to you, should Cecil Rhodes be anywhere buried in Africa? You tell me. Should he be should he be anywhere on Africa? Should he be buried anywhere? If he's from Hertfordshire, yeah, he had the same mentality, and he's telling people to whom the land belongs that we are going to stimulate them to not labor, and they will have to do manual labor for the rest of their lives. And yet, the land that he took is still in the hands of his descendants in 2024. 73%. Africans, we need to wake up. This is injustice. The very fact, I'm going to say this and if there's any South African in here, please, I'm going to just state it. I'm white South African. I'm not, this is not a personal thing, but I'm stating the facts. If you say that you are a South African and you're laying claim to Africa, that is racism. That is racism. Because the people to whom those land belong has not been returned to them. It's not been returned. Exactly. This is Asaf Ben-Judah. He's buried in Zimbabwe, in the national park in Zimbabwe. I kid you not. He's buried there. But they forget all of the fact that they forget the fact that he does not. Why would you want to be buried in the middle of people that you don't like? Why? Tiger likes waffles. Thank you. That's why we're making this program. Please share. Tap. I'd really appreciate you sharing the broadcast. Please give us give us likes. Let the likes go up. Let us reach more people. I'll probably be rounding up soon, but I'm so grateful for those of you that have joined now, and we're giving information. This is not about spewing hate. This is an injustice. This is a totally unjust action that is affecting the entire world. It has to be addressed. Yeah. Yes, it was found. Yes, it's found in Mandinkesh. The lady, Dinkesh, was found in Ethiopia, over 2 million years old, in Alkebulan. Yes, I kid you not. That's the oldest human being found. Now, this is human violation. Now, some of them out, they don't want to take more land now. They're trying to take more land and declare a white only Oranje. There's a place called Oranje in South Africa. It's a white only community on the African continent. We gotta wake up. South Africans, we gotta wake up. We gotta wake up. So I'm going back to this particular point. What Ibrahim Traore is doing, please, every African, make sure that you are keeping an eye on that Alliance of Sahel States. If they come with any false information, we must debunk it straight away. They are trying to use, Oranje, I think in South Africa, it's called Oranje. It's a place. It's a white-only community, So these are things, Young B Media, I don't need you to be sad. I need you to be active. The reason I'm sharing this information is, as Africans, we have been so conditioned to accept everything that we've been told about ourselves. Now, we have to now research and take action to free Africa. That's all we're doing. We're not going to Europe. We're not going to do anything else in Europe or in the US. That's not our concern. Our concern is to make sure that Africans now know what their true worth, and they can stay in Africa. We need to make sure that all of the military bases of the West is cleared of the African continent, because it's been used to destroy our communities, to destroy our kingdoms, to destroy who we are. That's the reality of it. You know? Thank you. Yeah, please write notes. And please do share. I'll be coming up with as much information, and as our ancestors guide me, I will give that information, because I get downloads from the ancestors. Believe you me, it's not of my own making alone. When I come and do discussions like this, I often get a particular sort of, there will be something that will just talk about this, and then suddenly the doors open. You know, yeah, they still, yes, the human being started from East Africa, Ethiopia. Okay, that's you know, it's in Africa. So there's also some places that's been found in South Africa as well. So I mean, it doesn't, that is still in Africa, and as Africans, those things should be protected. And these are the stories that we should know about ourselves. Africans know more about the European culture, European things, than they know about themselves. And that is a recipe for being colonized. So we have to change that mindset. Let me see if I can find that place. Is it called Orania? Let me just make sure. I will do the broadcast on the computer next time, but please like this broadcast. Continue to, you know, give us thumbs up, more thumbs up. Take a minute, give us thumbs up. You are listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. The aim of this platform is to enlighten Africans, millions of Africans around the world, and indeed to open the eyes of many Europeans to what their government has been doing, particularly on the African continent, in their name. That is the aim of it. And for Africans to wake up and know that we are wealthy beyond compare. The kind of wealth we had, you haven't got enough papers to print the value. The kind of wealth Africa has, there is not enough paper on this planet to print the value. That's the kind of wealth we have in Africa. And I kid you not. Resources endowed beyond compare. And we have to understand that about ourselves. We need to, Seaman 1, 2, 3, please. Everybody watching, please give us thumbs up. Let the thumbs up going up. Keep it going up. Keep it going up. Keep it going up. Thank you. So we need to re-educate our children, the coming generation of Africans. Believe me, I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this for me at all. I'm doing this for the coming generation. They need to know their nation, their land in their own language. They must know their rights in their mother tongue. The longer we allow for the colonial structures to keep us having to learn their language on our continent, the more enslaved we become. So we need to change that mindset. We are under constant colonial structural racism, financial racism, economic racism, religious racism, educational racism, extraction of our resources, again, is racism. Just look, it's a plethora of constant exploitation. And then they will do more to justify that exploitation. So we need to speak up as Africans. We really must speak up, you know. I did not know there were still very strong, deep. As I speak to you, in Ivory Coast, the West, France and US and UK and others, they are amassing troops that are going to try and destabilize and destroy the alliance of Sahel states. In Ivory Coast and in Benin. And the puppet leaders in those countries are doing the bidding. In Ghana, in some respects, it's sort of coming and telling about the Ghana leader is telling the West about what Ibrahim Traore are doing. But Ibrahim Traore, they say it. We are for our people. This is our land, and we have to make sure. And he said something. He said, AES or death, and rightly so, because the enslavement. I mean, look at what they did to Thomas Sankara. They used Compaore to dethrone him and impoverish the people, and they were taking the resources. As I speak to you right now, Ibrahim Traore has cancelled all the gold mining contracts. As I speak to you right now, Ibrahim Traore has cancelled all the gold mining contracts of all of the foreign countries. His people, you know. Exactly, I bend. No other people. 90 million. So, look, Africans, we have work to do. The best thing we can do now is to really do a lot of deep dive in researching our history, our ancestral belief system, our ways of doing things, and reconnect. And I want to say something about in the Western world, the church has got over 10,000 African artifacts in it. And they tell us, oh, we eat for safekeeping. Sorry, that is stealing. It's not for safekeeping. You took it away from the people because that was their belief system. And you wanted them to stop that belief system and do what you wanted them to do so you could control them. That is looting. You looted resources. You looted artifacts. It must all be returned. Our ancestors will make sure it's returned. That's all I'm going to tell you. Our ancestors are going to make sure you return it by your own hand to the place you took it from. Every single one of them. The churches, in the mosque, and in the museums, all over the world. My ancestral, the bronze heads of the Yorubas is all in museums all over the world, in the UK, in France, in Germany, in US. The Benin stuff, they're returning some now, granted. But it doesn't belong to you. When you are stealing people's stuff, and then you're now trying to, what moral grounds do you have to tell us anything? You don't have any moral grounds. Because what you stole is called stealing. In your Bible, what you did is stealing. And to say, oh, we have to keep it because of... No. Sorry. You are trying to move the goalpost. It must all be returned. So can you see, even in terms of museums, that is even racism. To deny people the right to the access to their own ancestral artifacts. That's racism. Can you see? Can you all see how this racism, how deep this is? To deny the people to whom those artifacts belong, from witnesses in it. People have to come from their own country into your country to see what belongs to them, and they can't even touch it. That's racism. That is racism. But these are uncomfortable truths that many don't want to hear. But it has to be said. And as Africans, I want to say it now, and I'm saying again, we must protect the alliance of Sahel states. And I for one, I am encouraging them to expand the alliance of Sahel states on the African continent. The European Union will do anything to protect Europe. Joseph Borrell said it. What did he say again? He said, Europe is a garden, the rest of the world is a jungle. That's what Joseph Borrell said. Correct. He's one of the EU leaders. He said, Europe is a garden, and the rest of the world is a jungle. So they will do anything to protect their garden. Well, that's fine. Now, we have a right to say, please, stay out of Africa. You have done enough damage over 500 years. Now, Africans want to stand up and are standing up and are saying enough is enough of this injustice on our continent. I could understand if you objected, if I was saying I'm coming to Europe and do exactly what you did and take over Europe. I can understand if people objected, but I'm not even interested in that. That's not even, no, we're not interested in that. We just want to be left alone. And this projection that we are poor on the African continent must stop. Yes, Tinubu, Kudafo, Ouattara are huge stumbling blocks. Don't worry, like I said, once we have to just continue protecting, we have to make sure as Africans that we protect the Alliance of Sahel States. That is the blueprint for the future of Africa, and we have to protect it at all costs, via social media, via physically, collectively, spiritually, you name it. We need to do that as Africans, because that is what must happen. The injustice, the unending injustice of Africans dying in the Mediterranean Sea. As I speak to you, there are Africans in Iraq right now, women who are being enslaved, and they are put in jail. As soon as they finish the work, as soon as they're kicked out of bed by the employees, if they see them on the street, the Iraqi police, they put them in jail, in chains, and they grape them. They sexually abuse them. In Saudi Arabia, Africans, again, slaves. In UAE, Africans, slave. In Qatar, Africans, slave. In Libya, Africans, slave. In Morocco, black Africans, slave. We are under attack everywhere. We are under attack. Yes, Dubai, we are under attack everywhere. As I'm speaking to you, I have a GoFundMe that we're trying to do to get that I've raised, and it's called Rescue. I'll see if I can. If you go to my page, you'll see it. It's called Rescue Africans from Slavery. Let me just get it, if I can get it up. Yeah, okay. I think I've got it here somewhere. 1 second. If you go to my on my Citizen AY page, you see it there. I've been talking about it a lot. Let me see if I can get it up. I just want to read that to you now, because these are the things that we need to really address now. We have to work together and put those puppets to shame, to bring back our people from being enslaved. And we have to do a better job of educating our people about the dangers of enslavement. Let me go and get this done. 1 second, please. Let me just get this out. The racism at the personal level is even bigger in terms of the system that's used to oppress Africans on the African continent. We are facing unending, constant racism, financial racism, religious racism, economic racism, medical racism. It's unrelenting, and we got to stop it. You and I, we are the ones who can stop it. We are the only ones who can stop it collectively, because they will not stop it. And also, I will talk to you about even the food now. There's a video that I showed yesterday where they were making chickens in Netherlands. The chickens were without hair. The chickens are without feathers, and they are genetically modified chickens designed to be big. But guess what? Those chickens are not being sold in Europe. They are being sold. They mention Nigeria as the place they want it to be sold in. Nigeria and Indonesia and the southern hemisphere. Now, what does that mean? So when you're making a kind of a genetically modified food, but you don't want it to be sold in Europe, you are selling it in Africa. What is that? Is that not agricultural racism? Is that not agricultural racism? I'm asking. I'm just asking, questions here. Let me read that thing. These are things that we have to really fundamentally be thinking about. I'll play that video to you in a moment. Let me just read to you that GoFundMe thing. I need, if you can, go to my page. You will see it on there. GoFundMe for the ladies and men to be repatriated back home, and we need that support. Let me just get this up, and I want to read the exact words. You will see it, and I will post it again on the broadcast when I finish. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm going to do something now. So let me read you this now. So it says here, the GoFundMe is called Rescue Africans from Enslavement in Arab Countries. That's the GoFundMe. When you see it, you see my name, Citizen AY. I'd love you to donate what you can there. Because what we want to do is three things. One, we want to get the girls and the boys who have been racially and physically abused, and some of them, they've had their kidneys removed. Some of them have had their kidneys removed whilst they're enslaved in Saudi Arabia. They've had their kidneys removed against their will. So we need to fly them out of those areas quickly, back into Africa, into places where we have medical facilities to help them. Yes. Evangelist Love. They've had their kidneys removed. On my show on TikTok yesterday, a man confirmed this. His own relative was enslaved. Another lady confirmed that her own husband was enslaved in, was it Morocco, for 7 months before he was able to get out. This is what happens in Arab countries. So those of you who are saying, oh, I'm a Muslim. If you're a black man, you need to really understand. You are seen as a slave. You are seen as a slave. Now, so let me just read that again. So, rescue Africans from enslavement in Arab countries. It's on my GoFundMe. It's in GoFundMe. It's in UC Citizen AY, the platform where we speak to power. We need that, out there. So what we are trying to do is get them away from those countries. Get them treatment first. And then once they get treatment, put them on a plane back to their respective countries. But when they get there, we want to make them to use their experiences to teach people about the dangers of going out to try and seek a better future. That people are better to be in our countries. And then they will be doing the thing about what we said. In one of the things I've been doing, if you see, I've got the Constitution of Nigeria in Yoruba language. And we are going to get stakeholders to go to every community in their language to teach people about their rights in their local language and how to use those rights to hold their governors to account. That way, people will know their true worth. Africans, we don't know our true worth, So these are the things we're talking about. Yes, it is worse. So, in the picture, when you go to the GoFundMe, you will see a picture of African women in between two Iraqi officers who, and they've got them in chains. And one of the women has got a bangle on her, a Kenyan bangle. She's definitely Kenyan. Illegally, enslaved and illegally arrested. None of them should be should be arrested. They should be sent. They should be back in Kenya. But Ruto doesn't care about that. Ruto is always bowing to the colonials. Ruto is not for the people. I salute the Gen Zs in Kenya. I salute them because they are exposing a lot of things. Did you know that the national parks, many of the national parks in Kenya and in Africa, is full of mineral resources that has been mined and being taken out of Africa? Look, I could go on. There is so much more to be said. There is so much more to unpack. But we need to wake up. So please, on the rescue Africans from enslavement in African Arab countries, please help, because there are women from Nigeria, women from Gambia, from Ghana, from Niger, from all over Africa, who are enslaved in Arab countries. ECOWAS is doing nothing about it. African Union is doing nothing about it because they are puppets of the West. And the West and Saudi and Arab countries, they are in cahoots to keep Africa oppressed. They are. I kid you not. There's no other way to say it, Yeah. Yeah, of course, exactly. But that does not justify, that cannot justify, slavery is wrong. It is not right. In 2024, for that to be happening is totally unacceptable. I was going to play you a video. Let me play you that video quickly if I can find it, of the chicken. I need you to hear it yourself, because these are the kind of things that we're after. In fact, I'm going to play you one video as an African. This is General Michel van der Laan. Listen to the words he's about to say. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. I think I'll...
Certain countries are being pushed out of West and Central Africa as other world players gain influence there.
Listen.
That's the message from the EU's Military Staff Director General, who's raised concerns over Europe potentially losing access to the continent's resources.
We are more or less pushed out many Western countries, including US, from Niger, from Mali, from Burkina Faso, from other countries. And this will cause problems for the future if we don't act. So we are thinking about an integrated approach to step up our efforts in Africa. And especially this approach will be that we will support them in a way that they ask for. instead of bringing them good like we did in the past.
So, they are going to support us in the way we asked for, instead of them bringing goods like they did before in the past. What he forgot to tell you was that they actually enslaved the whole of Africa. Did you know that Africa since 1884, Africa has been an open concentration camp. It's been an open concentration camp. We don't have control over our land. And so-called democracy now that we have is not independent. It's under the control of the colonials as we speak. And you've had him now. They are so worried. They can't do without Africa. They will do anything and everything to keep Africa under control, oppressed, suppressed, impoverished. I'm just telling you that again. To have that mindset is racism. Leave Africa be. To have that mindset, it is. I'm not even the issue about black man. We're not going to talk about that now. But I don't want to detract from this. Africa is oppressed, and we need to free ourselves. So that's one video. Let me play you another video of what I talked about the chicken, because I need you to understand this is militarily. So there's a military attack. What I spoke about before about the Ebola and monkeypox, that is biological warfare on the African continent. That is literally biological warfare against Africans on the African continent right now. Okay, let's go ahead. Next one. Okay, so I'm going to play you this now. You're going to hear a Dutch farmer talk about chicken. Listen intently. Listen.
Future of these chickens? Are we going to see them in our supermarkets soon?
Well, not in the supermarket in the UK, but hopefully in the supermarkets in the tropical countries, in Nigeria, in Indonesia, where it's very hot. For these farmers, it's easier and more efficient because there's no need.
You don't have to pluck them.
That's right. There's no need to pluck them. The proportion of meat on these birds is higher.
So featherless chickens in the tropics, they grow faster than a bird with feathers because they don't get held up by the fact they're getting too hot. They're healthier, they cost less because you don't have expensive housing. It sounds fantastic.
That's right.
Good for the person, good for the bird.
Did you hear that? They are making a genetically modified chicken, but it's not for consumption in Europe. But it's for consumption in Africa. Oh, it's easier to pluck feathers. Please, newsflash, all Africans, warn your families at home. Please, any chicken coming from abroad, don't eat it. It's full of chemicals. We don't know what it will do. It might do untold damage to you. We are hearing some of them might be cancerous. It might even make you impotent or infertile and all of this stuff. We have our own, we grow food. Look, I just said it in my broadcast earlier on. In Africa, if you put corn in the soil, 3 days, it grows. Same thing with tomatoes, same thing with banana, same thing with yam, sweet potato, you name it, squash, whatever you want to grow. Africa is a fertile land. It is 33% of the world's fertile land is, maybe close to 50% is in Africa. But they don't want Africans to enjoy what is rightfully theirs. Why are you having to make food? Yes, beware. Why are you having to make food in Europe and to transport it? It is actually economically, it doesn't make sense. The food should be close to where the food should be made close to where you are eating it to reduce any transport cost. What they are doing is actually going to increase cost and increase health damages, and there's no hospitals in Africa. They're smiling face and this is Trojan horse gift. Look, I am saying this for us to wake up. Please continue to give us thumbs up. The more of you do that, it'll be great. I'll be coming back and doing live broadcasts on here. and we will carry on with the broadcast to reach more people, because it's really, really, really important, the information that we're searching here. You see, in Africa, one of the things they've made us look inwards and be fighting each other. But when we step out a little bit, when we zoomed out, we've now realized that every part of Africa, they are facing the same problems. The same problems by the same system. And we need to unite to free ourselves from bondage, because we are in bondage on the African continent. And that is why people are fleeing. People don't understand the system. And they don't understand that when they come to Europe, they're going to end up being cleaners in the shops, in the supermarkets. They're going to end up being the ones manning and cleaning up in the supermarkets or on the offices, working in care homes. That's what many Africans are doing in Europe. I kid you not. That, yes, they intend to analyze Bantu people, but they've failed already. Henry Kissinger's report talked about it, controlling the population in Africa at all costs. What is it the business of America, what we do on the African continent? Why they must leave us alone? We are tired of being projected on. We are tired of being lied against. We're tired of being our stuff being taken forcefully from us, preventing us from developing. We're tired of all of that. We must be left to grow on our own. And we have to put everything in place to make sure that we are not disturbed anymore. This interruption in our development has gone on long enough. Yeah, that's why they don't want people to go to the farm in Nigeria. Exactly. And I'm telling you, what happened when Niger kicked out the French from the French and the US from Niger, it had an impact on the Boko Haram activities in Africa, in Nigeria. Because now they have to now find ways in which they are going to fund it. And they did all the bases were being used to train up these people. And the weapons. Ask yourself, where are Boko Haram, where are they getting the weapons from? Where are they getting weapons from? Do we make weapons in Africa? We don't. But they always have sophisticated weapons. So that's why they are hurriedly trying to go back now into Ivory Coast and Benin, so they can continue this. Africans, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. And we are telling Ivory Coast, do not. Thankfully, the pressure on the Nigerian government was so great, they could not in any way, shape, or form agree to having the US base in Nigeria. But I think they are trying to do the same thing in Ivory Coast right now. And we need to make sure that we shine a light and not accept any of this. We don't want any of the bases on the African continent. You know what is shocking? Somebody said something. Let me see if I can find out. I want to tell you something. Somebody told me something yesterday, the other day. And they said that in what's this place again? In Nigeria, in the north, there is a place that we Africans cannot go to. We Nigerians, the Nigerians cannot go to a particular place, a biological place, a site where planes fly in, fly out, and Africans and even the Nigerian government, nobody from Nigeria can go in on the Nigerian soil in Borno. Yes. Another thing, there's a place called Idumedia in Edo State. It's for a Jehovah Witness site. They print documents for religion. They always print it. They are not allowed to go in there. They don't get their food locally. They get their food flown in directly from the US into that base. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? This is in Nigeria. And there are many other places that I don't even know of that is happening. The same thing happening in Nigeria is happening in Benin Republic. It's happening all over. All over. Let me see if I can find that information for you. Because I do keep notes and I try and write a lot of things as I go along. Let me see. If I find that, I'll come back to it. But anyway, I'll put that here for now. So, the point I'm making now is this. As Africans, we need to be very aware, you know. You give in exchange for goods and security, but they take your freedom. Exactly, Samuel Pants. So, what are we asking for? What are we asking for? We need to wake up on the African continent, including Nigeria. The same thing happening in Nigeria is the same thing happening in Senegal, and happening in Kenya, happening in Uganda, happening in Rwanda, happening everything. All those leaders, except for Burkina Faso's Ibrahim Traoré, Assimi Goïta of Mali, and General Chani of Niger. Those are real African heroes. The rest are all puppets. The rest of them are all puppets of the West. And the West do not want Africa to be free. And the best way to make us, to free us, is to share knowledge like I'm sharing with you now. We need the constitution in our local languages. Please, what are you prepared to do personally in your community right now? Ask yourself that question. What are you prepared to do? Are you prepared to print documents out and go into the communities and make them aware? Can you even share this broadcast so your community can see it and know that they have the powers of sovereignty, authority, and power in their local language? Can you translate the document in your local language? Can you get teams of people together to begin to awaken Africans? Because that's what we need to do. We've been covered, we've been blinded with the lies of religion to keep us from actually holding our governance to account, to be able to exercise our sovereignty on our land. Because they don't want us to know the riches that we have beneath our feet. They don't consider us. They don't consider Africans. That is why why do you think they are doing all this monkeypox and Ebola all over Africa? They have no regard for how this thing will spread on the continent. All they want is continued unfettered access to our resources. I kid you not. We are not considered humans. We were not considered humans back then. We are still not considered humans now. Yes, the knowledge is spreading now. A lot, and the powers that be are scared. Exactly. But we're not. I'm not spewing hate. I'm not coming here saying F this and all that. And you notice, there's a lot of Africans. It's very interesting. As an African, if you hold your Nigerian passport or African passport, you can't come into Europe. But if you hold your European passport, Spanish, Italian, French, UK, you can go anywhere pretty much on the African continent. And they get to go into where those resources are. They get flown in. They fly at our resources and they fly into identified areas and then make sure they create things. There are some places where they're going in and creating all of this lab where they do all this biological warfare to spread in Africa. This has to stop. Exactly. Being scared doesn't make change happen, though, because they continue to do as they do. Exactly. Nice knowing this channel. We'll visit again. I do hope this room benefits from my input. Bless. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, we have to make the change happen, and the best way to make that change happen is to spread the awareness, the knowledge, in our local language. I'm going to speak to you in Yoruba briefly now. Emi ọmọ Yorùbá mi ni mí pọ́nbélé, mo dẹ̀ nífẹ̀ẹ́ èdè mi, mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ ìwà mi, mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ àṣà mi, mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ àwọn alálẹ̀ mi, mo nífẹ̀ẹ́ èṣù. Ọmọ Yorùbá ni mí pọ́nbélé. I'm speaking to you in my conch Yoruba language. I'm proud of who I am as a Yoruba man. And nothing will change that till the end of my days. I don't care who hears it. I am a proud Yoruba man and I will do everything for my people. Africans are my people. And this injustice, we must all work together. Your language, please speak it. There's nothing wrong in learning English. Don't get me wrong. Our children, they must learn their language first. Their mother tongue is the key. When they know their powers in their mother tongue, no force on this planet can exploit them. It is that simple. And that's what they've done. From childhood. Oh, don't speak Yoruba. Oh, don't speak, no, speak English. It's good. They will welcome you. The sign of you speaking English, you are confirming your enslavement. The sign of you speaking French, you are confirming your enslavement. But when you speak Yoruba or you speak your African language, you are free mentally. You are literally free. And that scares them. You're free. Yes, don't lose your heritage. So, my people, I only for time purposes, I need to go and do a few things. I am so grateful for your joining me. Please, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe to this platform. There is a lot much more to come. We are going to be talking about, on this platform, I'm going to be walking people through how you can have monthly town hall meetings in your own community, in your language. I'll do it in English for you to understand how to do it, and then when you go and practice it, you will do it in your own language for your community. Because this is bigger than 1 or 2 people. This is the entire Africa. I couldn't believe it. 54 African countries, their constitution is written in Portuguese, French, and English. 54. Now, this has got to stop. This exploitation must stop. You know, and tribalism in Africa, listen, it's a design plot. It's a ploy. When people know their rights and they're exercising those rights as a community, the benefit of having good roads, when you are able to exercise your right to demand for good roads, water, light, schools, bridges, tribalism will melt away. Tribalism will exist when they restrict your access to the resources you need to build those things, to build the road, to build the water. They restrict your access to it and ensure that they pay each other to fight so that some people have control of it and not allow others to get to it. What we're saying is everybody's entitled to these resources, and that is what Traore is showing. Traore doesn't go and buy a new car. Do you know that the Japanese car industry, depends heavily on the cars they supply to African puppet governments? They don't supply car to one person. They supply thousands of cars at thousands amount at a time to African countries. The puppets, the Diasus, all of this, you know, and part of the World Bank is that you have to buy when they sign agreement to take loan, you have to buy X amount of this person's goods, that one's goods, all European. Oh man, listen, we gotta wake up. We have to wake up. There's a lot more, but greetings from South Africa, Tess Downer. Greetings. I'll be back later on. I'm going to try and I need to have a break and I'll come back. But I want to thank everybody. But please continue to give us a thumbs up. The more you do that, the more this broadcast will go viral and reach more people. The awakening has begun. It's unstoppable. It's in the air. As I speak it, our ancestors are saying, it is time. Africans, arise. Embrace your freedom. Embrace your culture. Embrace who you are. No force on this planet will stop the growth and the development of the coming generation of Africans. And it is already so. We just have to it is being manifested in the spiritual realm. It is now going to fully manifest in the physical form. Through our continued discussion, collective action, taking action to free our minds, to awaken our people, our communities. Every community must know that they are sovereign, they have authority, and they have power. I believe in my ancestors. I believe in Eshu. My African Eledumare. That's what I believe in. For others, but for me, I believe 100% in Eshu. And I know, and I believe in the God of Ogun, the God of Iron, the God of Shango. I believe in Yemoja. Those are my belief systems, and not belief. Those are my deities. I worship my deities, African deities. Now, I am not Jesus Christ, and all of that is a mirage. Please, you need to understand, the word Christ is a title. The word Christ is a title. It's a higher state of being. We've been tricked. But I don't want to go into religion because I don't want to. Right now, we need our people to wake up in terms of really holding things up, you know. Exactly. They are moving to, whites are now saying they have to move to Africa. It is rising. What disrespect? Exactly. We don't want, no. We need to, right now, Africans are not allowed to come into Europe because they say Europe is, remember, Joseph Borrell said his words. Europe is a garden. So they have to stay in that garden. No, let them stay in that garden. They must stay in the garden. We will keep our jungle. And they have to keep out of our jungle. And they have to stop calling us names. They're not, once we restrict the access to our resources, the names calling will stop, I promise you. And that's what we need to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure. Please continue to give us the likes, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Even after you watch this broadcast, and even if you're watching it, as you're watching it, give us thumbs up. You are listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Before I go, I'm going to play us out with the song I started with, which is How Long Una Go Suffer, a song I wrote and produced by my great friend, Smart Monkey Studios, very good producer friend of mine. And we wrote this song in literally 5 minutes. I wrote the song in 5 minutes in the studio. I've been meaning to go to him for months. This is like a year or so back. So I went to him. I wasn't really quite myself. On the day, it wasn't really. I wasn't feeling anything much. I was like, okay. He said, just please come. And I said, why? So he said, just come. I got to the studio and he said, so we chatted, chit-chat for a bit. Then he said, listen, I want to play you a song. I'll play you a beat I've done. What do you think? So he played it. And as he played it, the words started coming. It was like, what? 5 minutes. That song that I'm about to play was written in 5 minutes. I kid you not. It was written in 5 minutes. See what you think. It's called How Long Una Go Suffer. It is on iTunes and on Spotify. Please go ahead and download it. Help me. If you can download that, it will allow me to continue to do the work I'm doing in doing more research and empowering Africans to be free on the African continent. I'm not interested in Europe. I'm not interested in US. I'm not interested in Japan. I'm not interested in Canada. I'm more interested in we Africans reaching our true potential on the continent of Africa. So if you help me by downloading the tune, buy it on iTunes, buy it on Spotify, spread it, share it, that will help me to focus more on doing more research and coming up with more ways and practical steps to take to free our mind mentally and physically from the bondage that we are in collectively as Africans. We all have a role to play in this. With that said, let me play the song. It's called How Long Una Go Suffer. I hope you like it. It goes something like this. Here we go. So I'll play that with that again. Woo! Ha! Citizen AY. Yeah. My people, oh, I always salute. Hey. We wanna hear. How long? How long una go dey suffer? How long? How long una go dey suffer? How long? How long una go dey suffer? How long? Oh, how long una go dey suffer? My people, we don't tire inside Nigeria. Na slave camp we dey, oh. Na so, my people, we don't tire for the country where them they call Nigeria. Na slave camp, oh. The time don't knock where we suppose. Stand up for our rights, oh. Stand up for our rights, oh. The time don't knock where we suppose. Stand up, oh, for our rights, oh. For self-determination. How long una go dey suffer? How long una go dey suffer? How long una go dey suffer? How long? Oh, how long una go dey suffer? Abdul Salam na fake man. Now he put that yeah constitution for your head, yo. Abdul Salam na fake man. Now military man don't tell una say una get constitution. Na lie yo, na fake, na fraud oh. That yeah constitution. Now in then they take close to na eye yo. Make una wake up, oh. How long? Oh, come bere ni oh, I just they wonder. Oh, come bere ni oh, I just they wonder. Oh, come bere ni oh, I just they wonder. Oh, come bere ni oh, I just they wonder. Bere ni oh, I just they wonder. Oh, come bere ni oh, I just they wonder. Oh, come bere ni oh, I just they wonder. Oh, come bere ni oh, I just they wonder. My people, I want make una know so. Self-determination, oh, now you're right, yo. My people, I want make una know so. Self-determination, now you're right, yo. You must stand for your rights. You must fight for your rights. You must get up, stand up. You must tell your people for your village, for your town, for your city, and inside country where you go. Atiku, Emiloko, Opeta, Obi no be the solution. Not the solution, now be the solution. Make una wake up, make una wake up. Time done now. You be Yoruba man, you be Biafran. I want make una know say self-determination, now you're right, you. Yoruba na your land, yo. Middle belt na your land, yo. Hausa land na your land, yo. Biafra land na your land, yo. No be Nigeria, no be Nigeria, no be Nigeria, no be Nigeria. La 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 la. Oh. Thank you so very much. The song is called, good question, Tony. The song is called How Long Una Go Dey Suffer. I'll try and see if I can write it up on the screen. Let me see if I can write something. Can I write it on here? I can't. Okay. But it's called How Long Una Go Dey Suffer. You will see it on my it's a song that you see pinned to my page. You can download it on iTunes and Spotify. It is called How Long Una Go Dey Suffer. The word Una Go Dey Suffer is a pidgin English that we use in Africa. Most Africans will understand that. How long Una Go Dey Suffer? It means how long will you continue to suffer? So it's a it's a play on the word, and I've used a lot of pidgin English because that's a way to connect to as wide Africans as Africans as possible, many Africans as possible, because we all speak different languages. So hope you like it. Yeah, yes. How long Una Go Dey Suffer? Exactly, Kabiru Kadino. So that's the name of the song. I'll put the word behind it when I finish this broadcast. I'll see that I'll put it at the bottom and I'll pin it. So I want to thank you so much. I'll be back again, maybe later on tonight or maybe tomorrow, but watch out for us. You can also subscribe to us on TikTok as well, Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. I hope you find this beneficial. As Africans, we actually need, the world needs Africa to fix the world. The world needs Africa to be okay, to stand up, to rebirth itself for the world to be a better place. I kid you not. It literally does. Because the leadership that we have now in the world is really damaging the world. And we need to make sure that we, as a people, as Africans, we stand up and show the leadership. The first people of this planet have a role to play in fixing this damaged earth of ours. Let's support Africans to rise and take our rightful place on our continent. The exploitation of Africans stops now. Now. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. Hit the notification button, give us a thumbs up, help us reach more people. Thank you. I'll be back later on. It's a pleasure meeting you all. Too many names to mention. I'm so grateful for you sharing the broadcast. Share it and let us reach more people. Thank you and bye for now. Bye for now. Bye.